Fort Merit, a bastion erected at the edge of Eretel, built on the remains of an Arisian prison now overtaken by the Central Authority. A huge fort housing leaders in garrison and containing vicious criminals that dare oppose the authority. But below the main tower lies a separate section for only the most heinous of criminals, a detainment core heavily guarded and secure to keep those scoundrels at bay. Yet, one man sits in his cell, not swayed by the forces marching outside his door, waiting for the perfect moment for his grand escape. It's been 4 months since the detainment core was released into Deepwoken. And since it has been 4 months, I feel like the detainment core is what the devs envisioned it to be. With the dungeon content solidified, I want to go over the dungeon start to finish to share my thoughts on it because I love this game so much and I've been doing so much Titus recently. I had to make this video. Now, before even starting the dungeon, you have to go to the small little camp in Arisia, where the Legion is, to get the Legion intelligence so you can start the Titus boss fight. Now, I think this is a little flawed since the Legion presence in the game right now is so small. There's not much to do for the Legion, so getting reputation is just doing the job board. The game makes it feel like Titus is the pure reason why the Legion exists. There should actually be some meat on the Legion bones. Now, once you get enough reputation, then you can get the intelligence so you can fight the boss. My first impressions when I entered the detainment core was awesome because the map looked really great, the mood was set well. Deepwoken always does a great job with its maps, and I think they outdid themselves here once again. And also with the map, there's a bunch of hazards that the authority set up, such as the lasers, cannons, and the spike ball. All these environmental factors really make the space feel lived in and like an actual maximum security prison. And it's so silly that there's just a giant spike ball too as a defense. Now, moving on to the enemies, I'm a bit mixed on them because the guards are just cracked authority members with all the annoying options like Eruption Path, Ash Slam, and the dreaded Lightning Stream. All the guards people just kind of overrun you, but it does make sense. But that kind of feels like it should imply a sneak aspect, but you cannot sneak in this dungeon as enemies cover every area. So I feel like they should have added some sort of like sneaking aspect that would be unique to the game. But since that's not there, they kind of all just dogpile you, and you kind of just have to kite them around to kill them. Now, there are a few unique enemies that are cracked NPCs, but a little more cracked than usual. That being the Captain Solaire and the Vice Warden, the Capra. And almost forgot to mention this guy. He doesn't even have a name in the wiki, so I don't even know. This guy wears the Voltspark mask, but his primary purpose is to just defend the cannon system, which you can actually take over if you get a master key from the Capra, which I'll go over him in a second. Now, Captain Solaire, he's kind of just annoying. Now, the Captain Solaire's purpose is when he dies, he's supposed to drop the override key, which you can turn off all the hazards. But sometimes he can drop an armorer's needle, which honestly is more annoying than giving me the key. Now, moving on to the Capra, I think he's a little overtuned. He is the Vice Warden and all, but he has a curved blade with 2 enchants on it, which I think is completely ridiculous. Say he has Curse of Bloodthirsty, his ungodly amount of M1 damage is more ungodly, and it doesn't really make the fight fun. But you have to kill him in order to get the release key, which is a vital step in starting the boss. Now, once you use that release key, it opens up the cells at the beginning of the dungeon, so all the prisoners in there can escape and start attacking the guards, which I think this is a pretty cool scene. It looks kind of chaotic, and from there you can start Titus with the Legion intelligence.
You lost, bro? You don't look like you belong here. You better have a real good reason to be in my cell right now.
I bear a message from the 100 Legions.
They delayed again? I lay down my life for them, and this is how I'm repaid? To hell with these weak-minded schemes. I'll earn glory my way. It's as I've said from the start. From shore to shore, void to void, the weak must fall for the strong to prosper.
Now this large Legion captain has a lot of unique mechanics, mainly being his ability to wither, which is a perfect implementation into a boss. So you can't just run away and heal, and same with a group of people, you can't just swap in and out. And this is the first boss that's introduced after all the defense warnings, like the only dodgeable stuff, and that has allowed this boss to have a lot of specific set of defense against his moves. So once you get in the flow of this boss, it feels really fun. The majority of all of his moves are well made, and his entire move set is pretty fair and fun to defend against. One move I want to talk about is the one where he leaps in the air and slams down. It's not always consistent, and that is kind of frustrating. Also, there's one where he creates the 3 orbs behind him. There is no good way to avoid this move, and it really makes me angry. It says on the wiki, you are able to parry it and block it. False. If you hold F, you will get block broken. You cannot parry them, and dodging it uses your perfect dodge. So you're not in the dodge anymore, so you get hit with it. And for some reason, it lifts you up like an uppercut, and you just stay there. It's really awkward. It just pauses the fight effectively. I feel like you should be able to parry this move, or have some better defense against it, besides from just running away. Now, the last move I want to talk about is his M1s. Now, sometimes his animations can get blended together, so sometimes you don't see him punching, but that's not the main part. I think the fact that he can punch is okay. But when he enters his mode, why does his punches become unparryable? This eliminates a option to defend, and it uses your dodge. With this boss fight, your dodge is very vital, as he has a lot of only dodgeable moves. And he can feint too, so that's like stacking the unfairness, and I just hate it. But all the other moves he has feels fair and is fairly consistent. And with all the moves that he has together, besides the orb one, makes it feel like a really well-constructed boss fight that feels fun to defend against at times. But there are some times where it's annoying. Now, with the boss itself out the way, I want to talk about the debris mechanic in the dungeon as well. It's a cool way to show that Titus is really strong and he's breaking the place down. But when a little, like, wall tooth comes down and hits me, knocks me back, and I cannot defend against it, and it kind of just appears, is so frustrating. Especially when he enters second phase. That's when all the debris starts coming down really bad, and like, it's just a gamble if you're gonna get hit or not, or you just seek shelter. But that seems counterintuitive to the idea where he goes to the generator room when he enters second phase, so you would want to rush over to him, right? But there's debris falling. I think that's a cool idea, but it hits you and pushes you back. The debris should be a controlling factor on where the player should be, such as there is no reason for you to go over to the generator room. I feel like the debris should start falling if you're not in the generator room, to motivate players to go towards Titus rather than just waiting it out. But overall, I do enjoy this boss. It's fun reacting to him. The majority of his moves are fun to deal with, and he has a lot of fun mechanics. Now, this big old section at the back is for the loot pool he has, because he brings a lot of unique stuff to Deepwoken that not only make the boss worth it to do, but it can also elevate a lot of builds. First thing I want to talk about before I get into his actual drops is the Oath, the Blight Surger Oath. This Oath gotta be one of my favorites. It has 3 different combat mantras that all apply Wither, which you can make a whole build around, and it has a mode which changes your weapon, which is unique in its own way, but it all flows together and it all feels great. I think it was just about a 10 out of 10 oath. If it wasn't for the gale or lightning requirement, I would run this on so many more builds. Now moving on to his actual drops. He drops 2 unique weapons, 3 unique sets, his cape, 2 gems, 3 enchants, and a relic. Now for the 2 weapons, the first being the Edenbrand Hellcoil. It's the first great cannon that was added to Deepwoken, and its critical is so fun. I'm glad it was added, and I think it deserves to be here. Can't really say the same for the World Piercer gauntlets though, because they are just an alternative to the Gaunts of Enmity. They don't have a unique crit, which makes sense because you can get Imperium Kata, which is the fighting style Titus uses, but I feel like the crit should just be like his slam or something. Next, I want to talk about the enchants, the Bluster, Authoritative, and Windswept enchant. There's nothing really note of them. They all are unique and they all have their own gimmick. Now for the 2 gems he drops, the Wrath and the Might gem, I think they are not good. If you do not have the sets, they are terrible. And those sets are the Evan Spear, the Shock Trooper, and the Western Outlaw sets. You can upgrade those after you kill Titus to actually have usable equipment, but each set has their own gimmick. The Western Outlaw and the Evan Spear stuff dealing with their respective gems, which in my opinion, I think that the Western Outlaw stuff is vastly underpowered compared to the other 2 sets that Titus drops. The Evan Spear set, I thoroughly enjoy. Each one of its talents has a unique visual, and also upgrade the Wrath gem to a substantially good spot, unlike the Outlaw. Like, listen to this. Lame. Now the other set, the Shock Trooper stuff, I think this set is amazing. It's currently spiking in popularity because of how good it is, and I think it's great. Please do not nerf it. It's fun. Please don't nerf it. I want to go over the Titus's cape as well, which you can actually upgrade this, which I didn't know until recently. You can upgrade it to the Champion's cape, which you have to use a Champion's alloy to do so. And to make that, you get an Enmity drop, a Titus drop, and a World Serpent scale. If you combine them, you get the Champion's cape. And the talent, I think, is really mid for the cost. It's basically ranged attacks. If you're getting ganked, ranged attacks from other people won't do damage. And I think the cost of this, killing Enmity, like the hardest boss in the game, should give you a little more than just an anti-gank talent. Last thing I want to talk about is Titus's raiment, the outfit he drops. Please buff this, because the talent makes strong left guard break at level 5 with a 60-second cooldown. I think this talent is worthless. Strong left typically already guard breaks at level 5 because it does that amount of posture. And if you do come across someone that doesn't, this only allows strong left to benefit from it. It did get nerfed from Sky Shatter Kick and Table Flip in that. It should still do that. With a 60-second cooldown, it's not really worth it. Now, I didn't quite go over everything, but those are the things of note that I wanted to talk about. I think his loot pool is awesome and allows this boss to be grindable, but not too grindy, so you can enjoy him rather than you doing it once and forgetting about him. Now, final thing I want to talk about before we end it off is that by the time I should be posting this should be the day Vow of Iron drops, if it doesn't get delayed again. And in the trailer that they dropped for the update, you can see Titus on a boat and he's all young and stuff. And this is so cool. I'm so glad to see that an update so recent is going to be thoroughly implemented into Vow of Iron, a new update. Now, we don't really have any information other than he's coming back, but I hope they do something awesome with him, and hopefully we find out by tonight. Alright, that should wrap up everything about Titus and the dungeon. I'm very happy with this content update. The boss is really fun, the drops are really great, and I'm glad I get to see him more in the future. And the fact that there are 0 bugs that remain is so awesome. What do you want me to do?
We need more crystals. We need more umbracite
What?
and gold. We need more crystals. Time to go to the
What
land
the
of...
fuck? That did not hit me. Thank you so much for watching. If there's anything that I can improve, please put it down in the comments, and have a wonderful day.